So while you've been recuperating, the Niners have been doing stuff. Last time we talked was right before free agency. Now they're pretty much done with the first wave of things. They might do a couple more things in the future, but why don't I get you caught up on what they've done, and you can tell me what you think.
I like this.
We'll go step by step, and then at the end, we'll give a little grade of what we think they've done so far. So they've re-signed a bunch of guys, more guys than I think I expected, you expected. They re-signed Trent Williams. They made him the highest paid offensive lineman of all time. They also re-signed Juszczyk, Verrett, Mosley, Tart. A lot of guys are coming back. It seemed like their priority once again was to keep the team together. They feel they have a winning formula, and that last season was a fluke. So they're going to try one more time. What do you think of those re-signings?
The axiom that you had was the most important free agents they need to sign are their own. And you said that a few weeks ago. I think it's wise. And I think they did a very, very good job of re-signing their own. You could quibble with Trent Williams that they paid too much for him. But if they get rid of Jimmy and get a cheaper quarterback, that won't matter.
Right.
So I still need to see what they do with Jimmy. But having said that, Iggy, I think they did a pretty good job. And I think their secondary had turned into really a really good group, and they pretty much kept them together.
Yeah, they really had. I think a lot of people thought that the salary cap was going to force the Niners to change their formula or go a different direction. But they found a way to create the cap space to bring back all the people they wanted without having to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. So they can say, last year was an aberration. We're still a really good team. We're gonna prove it. So that's interesting. That's what they brought back. Now, in terms of who they've added, they had a lot of cap space. They spent it mostly on their own players. They went out and got a guy from the Rams. His name is Samson Ebukam. He's good. I told you about him last time. Robert Saleh said he's really good. He didn't play much for the Rams. He was kind of like a part-time player on the Niners. He's probably going to be replacing D Ford if D Ford doesn't play. So he's good. He's 26. The other guy is they got a center who is going to be 36 next season, and he went to Cal. He was excellent, first-round pick, but he's been getting older, and he's not as good as he used to be. Still, he's better than whoever they had last year. So those are the two main additions the Niners put together this offseason.
Sounds good to me. And the center is 36. I understand it's old in athletic years. 36, considering you're 33, doesn't seem that old to me. And you need a wise old head at the center position.
You do.
You can see them always pointing around, right?
Yes.
They're seeing stuff. So you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. And they got another pass rusher, which they need because D Ford's not going to be relevant. You know, he'll play a little bit and get hurt at the best, at the most. So I would say they did pretty good. Yeah,
and the thing about the center, I don't know how much Alex Mack has left, but he's definitely better than whatever they had last year. They had this guy, Hronis Grasu, who they picked up like off the waivers or something. He's terrible. And he started because he was the third string guy and everyone else was hurt. Jimmy's worst games of the season last year, the first week against the Cardinals and then his final game against the Seahawks, both of those games, the center was awful. And he was getting pressure up the middle, which he can't escape from. So if they at least have an adequate center, he might play better and maybe stay healthy. Maybe.
I love it. Again, the big thing they didn't do in free agency, well, there are two big things. We'll come back to another one later, but they haven't addressed the quarterback. And I would have to say, Iggy, if they don't address the quarterback, I am deeply critical of them, but I know a lot of people don't agree with me. And plus, there's a lot of time to go. Iggy, would you give a grade for how they did in free agency?
Well, we're not done yet. Let's talk about who they've lost. But yes, they could have added other people. I mean, they could have added a better center. The Raiders lost their guy, Rodney Hudson. He's 31. The Cardinals got him. The Raiders also lost their guard, Gabe Jackson. The Seahawks got him. So the Niners added some modest pieces, but their big pieces were their own guys. That's what they wanted to do. So makes sense that that's what they wanted to do. And then finally, the guys that the Niners lost. Kendrick Bourne signed a really nice contract with the Patriots. They gave him a 3-year deal worth almost $8 million a year. Akello Witherspoon signed like a 1-year deal with Seattle, which is kind of interesting that he's going to be a division rival now. And then no one else has really gotten contracts. It's interesting. The Niners have a lot of free agents that no one wants, like Richard Sherman or C.J. Beathard. Jerick McKinnon. Kevin Coleman went to the Jets. No idea why they wanted him. So really the Niners could bring back some guys. They haven't re-signed K'Wan Williams yet, but the two guys that they lost that other teams wanted were Bourne and Witherspoon.
Iggy, would you want them to bring back Sherman?
No, absolutely not. I think they're better without him. Sherman's so limited. We've talked about it before. There's only a couple of coverages he can do. It limits the rest of the defense. No. So I don't know if he's even going to get a job. We'll see.
I see. I agree with you. And Beathard, I don't think he's going to get a job, Iggy. I just don't think he's good enough.
I don't think so either. So given all the moves the Niners have done, I mean, I'd give him a B.
Sounds good to me, and I would like to emphasize that a B is a good grade.
Yeah.
It's not an A, but it's a good grade.
Yeah, it's a B. I'm not sure that they're significantly better than they were last year or the year before that, but they're definitely not much worse. They're about the same team, and it's still going to come down to their health and their drafting, I suppose.
And their quarterback.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to that.